Question 2 states, by definition, school board members are supposed to be representatives of the community or the voice of constituents. But it looks like we may have some adjustments that are here because this question looks very similar to this. I'm going to reread again, but I'm going to read what we have posted here. How do you believe the school board should engage with the community to make sure the decisions the board makes are representative of those most impacted by a decision? Part 2 of that. How will you ensure that the engagement is done equitably? Our first person that's going to begin is Jim Crossett.
Yeah, thank you very much. A very important question. Community engagement is critical. And I think that the way that we can do that and the way that we do that is we have LSDMCs, which are community members in each school. We have open forums in every board meeting for people to come and talk. And when we have critical decisions, we usually are pretty good about reaching out specifically to people that are going to be affected with that. I think we had a pretty big decision that we made last year, which in regards to setting up the corridor system and middle schools. And prior to that, we'd had a lot of community engagement, a lot of feedback from people. So I think we generally are very intentional about that. Equity, how is engagement done equitably? Equity is so important in our public schools, and it's something that we are working hard to achieve. I think you just have to be persistent in reaching out to the public. I also think that it's important for us to build as many relationships as we can from leadership communities within the district too, the business community, Chamber of Commerce, the universities, anybody that is interested in helping us. So that's another place where when we get that kind of feedback that can help us with equity, getting equity to all of our different schools and all of the students that really deserve it. So thank you.
Thank you, Jim, for your response. We'll now move on to Carrie Armbruster.
Yeah, this one's really important to me as well. I'm actually a parent in the district. I have 3 students enrolled in a CPS school, and it's something that I have thought a lot about because engagement is something I think the district can and should do more equitably and more often. So I know the district has done a lot of really great work in this area, but I don't know that it's always getting to the community in the way it should be. So making sure we are checking in to see that it's connecting is really, really important because I have been a very active parent and it takes a lot of time and energy to know what's happening, and I'm still missing it half the time. So we need to do more proactive work to find people where they are and get out and talk to people in ways that work for them and not make them always come to us. And talk to students. I know a lot of our board members are out there talking to students in our schools, but let's find other ways to do it too, so that they can provide feedback on an ongoing basis that doesn't always require the school visits that sometimes can be more complicated. So what are we doing when you're talking about impacting groups of people? The students are often really highly impacted, along with caregivers and community. So there's so much work to be done here, and I'm really excited about it.
Thank you, Carrie. It was right on time. Brandon Craig, you're up next.
All righty. So I think this is a very important question because I think the role of a school board member is to represent the community for which you are there to serve. And I think this is one of the reasons why I took very serious when we were making changes to the district over the last 2 years to ensure that we heard the voices of those folks who were most directly affected by those decisions. So I pushed for when we were making the decision to move students out of Riverview East, that we spoke to the parents at Riverview East, that we talked to the kids who were there to ensure that they knew where they were going, that they had a place to go to, that when we moved kids to Mount Washington and other district schools, that we were really ensuring they were getting a good quality education while they're there. It's why I fought when we were having the changes to add middle schools to our district to make sure that we, again, make sure parents got a chance to talk to those principals to see those schools that their kids were going to be going to and to understand what was changing. We have to do a lot stronger level of engagement to ensure that folks understand not just what the move is, but how that move will affect them long term, how that will change what their students' opportunities are. I think the other part to think about when we think about equitable engagement is ensuring that we are putting opportunities in front of those parents so they know the programming at our schools, so they know what those resources are at our schools, and that they're able to make real decisions for their students. That's equitable engagement.
Thank you, Brandon. We'll now move on to Marcia Futel.
So when it comes to the role of the board for community engagement, as elected officials, we are accountable to the board. Can you hear me? Because my thing says I'm not unmuted. Okay, I'm sorry. So we are accountable to the community as elected officials to have our pulse on the community in terms of their concerns. However, the superintendent is the CEO of the district, and it's the superintendent's responsibility to make sure that engagement happens so that whatever initiatives, plans, et cetera, that are rolled out throughout the district, there is a robust engagement plan for communicating those things. We did a great job of that 20 years ago when we did the facilities master plan. Every school community was engaged and had input into those plans, and they had input on into what they wanted for their schools. And so that's when it works. That's when the board was holding the superintendent accountable, and the board was giving feedback on what they heard. These last set of changes that occurred over for this school year, the engagement was not as robust, and therefore there were issues that could have been addressed had the engagement been more targeted towards those parents and students that would be impacted through the changes. So we have a lot of work to do when it comes to engaging the community and the stakeholders.
Thank you very much, Marcia. And now we'll move on to Kareem Moffett.
Okay, thank you for that question. I think that I will say I am a big fan of engagement, and I have tried to, through my term, engage as much as possible. I think we can absolutely do better. The type of engagement that I am looking for, we've not done. When we can do more of some of the things that we are doing. To answer the question succinctly without trying to repeat, that is our role, is to connect the community to the district. We are voted on, elected officials, and so that is our responsibility to represent the values of the community and work collaboratively. All seven of us represent a different demographic of the community. You cannot get anything passed or accomplished as one board member. So it really behooves us to work collaboratively. I've learned that the hard way over the past 4 years. I can come in with all kinds of goals and aspirations, but I need to work with my colleagues to get those things done. And it's really valuable because each of us not only represents a different section of the community, but we also represent different learning styles, true diversity, different ways of doing things. So I think we can absolutely do better. We have to give the community information, increase awareness on the issues that are coming down from the state that directly impact them and what our stance is. And that is our responsibility. I try to be everywhere, and that's exactly what I'm going to continue to do.
Thank you for sharing, Kareem.